Hello, eavesdroppers.
You're dropping in and you're eavesdropping.
You're dropping in on Michelle and Geordie. This week we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to rehash an episode from 2022, Season 3, Episode 8, in fact. Why, Michelle?
Basically, guys, as you know, eavesdropping, we're on it. We're in the zeitgeist. We're ahead of the curve. And we bust open those stories like a coconut with the water spilling out.
Wow.
And I'm just going to say two things. Chomp, chomp.
The reason why we've decided to rehash this episode for you, some of you may not have heard it. If you have, I'm sorry. But like I've said before, dicks are funny. So that's why we're going to let you listen once more to the Eunuch Maker and also the catfish murders. At the moment, there is a documentary out on Apple TV called The Eunuch Maker. This has become news again for some reason, even though it happened a while ago. And you may have heard it here first. So let's hear it again.
Enjoy it, and we will resume transmission as per normal for next episode. Enjoy. Dick and Ball Chomper.
Eavesdroppin'.
Hi there, Michelle.
Hi there, Geordie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? You don't look too bright today. I hear you've been under the weather.
I have been under the weather. I've got a voice today, so that's good. Because I sounded just dog rough over the last couple of days. But it's all good. It's just a cold. It's not COVID. I think people have forgotten what it's like just to have a normal common cold, but
Not me.
I'm moving on. Oh.
Fantastic. Well, listen, let's welcome everybody to a slightly dog rough Michelle and a semi-perky Geordie here over at Eavesdroppin'. Eavesdroppin'. It's a podcast. You're eavesdropping on us. We're chatting. And we're going to be chatting today about all sorts of things. I think today's theme is true crime.
We're going to have some trigger warnings. We're just going to trigger warning you for the trigger warnings.
Let's just put it out there. Somebody said to me recently, an eavesdropper said to me, I love your stories. Sometimes they're a bit gory and you do have trigger warnings, but often after you've already said the nasty things. So it's a little bit late for me to put down my cereal.
Do you know what? That is actually true. If I think back, we always say, oh, we should have done a trigger warning. And then the trigger warning comes in. So, yeah,
okay.
Oops.
Right. Well, listen, let's kick off with a trigger warning because I am going to be talking today about a true crime and it's quite nasty. There is some things that, especially if you have a dick and some balls, you're going to be really upset with today's story.
Oh, my God. I mean, this just reminds me shades of Lorena Bobbitt, but we've already done Lorena.
Oh, well, you just have to wait and see. But first, Michelle, actually, I have a little catching up to do on a story that we did way back when we first started doing Eavesdroppin' as a podcast. Do you remember that episode where you basically told the entire plot? I think it was episode 2 of The Exorcist, the movie. Do you remember that episode?
Yes. Oh, God.
No,
it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't what you did.
No, there was actually one moment where I was very shocked because the swearing in it was unbelievable for the 70s.
Yeah.
And actually the theme where she's like fucking herself with a crucifix.
Jesus,
and
Michelle, straight
she's
in there.
basically telling her mum to like go down on her. I was shocked.
Me. Well, I'm shocked.
Yes, that episode. I remember
your
that
language.
episode.
Jesus. Yeah, back in the extra droppings days, we did an extra droppings about the boy that inspired the film The Exorcist and the book by Blatty, William Blatty.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he was known that in those days as Roland Doe, if you remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And it was in 1949 that this all happened, I believe. I'm not sure. I've got the number 1945 written down and I'm not sure why. But recently he was revealed to be named as Ronald Hunkeler. I'll say that again.
Oh.
Hunkeler. Now that's spelled Hunkeler. And the reason being, Michelle, is because he recently died.
Oh, gosh.
I know. Well, he was old. He made it.
But did he have any deathbed confessions?
Well, no, I don't know about that. All I do know is that he was born in 1935 and raised by a middle-class family in Cottage City. Where's that? I think that might be a typo. That'll be a typo. Where's Cottage City? Should we say maybe, where do you think it might be? Kansas City?
No idea, but you've had a bad autocorrect.
Crikey. Oh, dear. Well, anyway, he was born somewhere and he began experiencing paranormal activities at the age of 14. You may remember this, Michelle, because you did a story on him, when he reported hearing knocking and scratching sounds from behind his bedroom wall. Sound familiar? The Reverend Luther Schultz, who was the Hunkeler's family minister, eventually wrote to the parapsychology laboratory, and he said how chairs were moving and, all of this stuff.
Oh, it was shocking. Yeah.
Essentially, he was exorcised and survived, but no one ever knew his name. It was a massive story. Michelle told it way back in season 1, which was in 2020. Now, recently, it was found out that Ronald Edwin Hunkeler died last year, a month before his 86th birthday, after suffering a stroke at home in Maryland in the United States.
Right.
So
not in Cottage.
Not in Cottage
Not
City.
in Cottage.
No. But in his adult life, Michelle, you'll find this very interesting, I think. He was a NASA engineer whose work contributed to the Apollo space missions in the 1960s, and he patented a technology that helped space shuttle panels withstand extreme heat.
Fake.
Well, I just thought it would be interesting,
It's all connected, isn't it?
It's connected, exactly.
Wow.
So
connected.
All else I can tell you about poor old Ronald, apart from the fact that we know he was the Exorcist boy that everything was based on, is that he always left the house on Halloween because he figured someone would come to his residence and know who he was and know where he lived and never let him have any peace. So he had a terrible life full of worry, a friend said. And eventually he retired from NASA in 2001 after working at the agency for nearly 40 years. And shortly before his death, a Catholic priest showed up at his home unexpectedly to perform last rites. And no one knows how he came to know that Ron was in need of them.
That's very interesting.
He just turned up. Yeah.
Because obviously in this day and age, it's very hard to keep your identity a secret.
Yeah.
But back then, before the internet, literally before the internet was even conceived of, back in the 40s and the 50s, it was a possibility for him to remain pretty much anonymous. So good on him.
Go Ron.
Yeah, go Ron. Wow.
And also, he's the reason why they could withstand all that amazing heat, Michelle, to make it through that heat shield to get to the moon.
It's all bullshit. This tiny little tin can made of foil, and so Ronald the Exorcist got us through, got the Americans through. Go Ronald! It's all a bit Ronald McDonald. Anyway,
stop.
Well, I know. Sorry.
You're starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist, Michelle.
I'm not a cure, I tell you, but it makes me laugh. Well, I tell you what, I've got a little update, actually.
Ooh!
Yeah, now look, I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode, Geordie, about when we were talking about the Tinder swindler.
Yes.
And the girls who were in the documentary, they actually have a GoFundMe page.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I mentioned this.
No, you didn't.
They have a GoFundMe page where anybody who sympathises with the fact that they were diddled out of hundreds of thousands can go and make a donation to them. Okay. Now, first of all, I went online. I could not find whether or not they got paid for doing that documentary. I certainly hope they did, because that would go some way to kind of paying off the debts that they were swindled out of. But, I mean, it's over £100,000 so far in donations.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Cecilia, and last week I kept saying Cecilia because it's written in a really weird way. Pretty sure her name is Cecilia.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't remember what I was talking about her.
Have you had too many Panadols?
I have. I'm not feeling great. I hope they got some money for doing that documentary.
Yeah, I hope they did.
So then also a long-time eavesdropper, Wiz, shout out to Wiz. Yeah, she got in touch with some info on that fucking creep, fake Simon Leviev.
Yeah.
So he set up a Cameo page.
What's that?
Well, the Cameo app is a little bit like what you, Geordie, thought OnlyFans was. Yes. Right?
Well, you get Carl from Neighbours to come on and say, happy birthday, Mrs. Hannah Huggis.
You're obsessed with that story. I love it. But yes, that's exactly it. You can pay famous people, if they're on there, to give you a shout out or a personalized message. And so he's got a profile. Ooh. And he says on his profile, I'm Simon Leviev. Well, he's not. He's
Shimon motherfucker.
Yeah. And he says here, if you want any blessing, and this is his word.
Blessings?
If you want, no. This is it. If you want any blessing, any birthday, whatever shout out, I'm so excited to be here. And you can join his fan club to unlock more content. That's what it says.
Do we need to open one of these Cameos? We give shout outs for free.
Oh, yeah, maybe. No one's who's paying for an eavesdropping shout out.
Do you know what though, Michelle? I am thinking of offering our eavesdroppers and beyond a ditty for themselves. If you want to send somebody a birthday message.
Oh, we'll do you an eavesdropping ditty.
Or a Mother's Day message or anything you like, we can do the ditty. Just send us a few lines and obviously you have to send that to eavesdroppinpodcast.com. No, where do you send it?
Email. Hello at eavesdroppinpodcast.com.
That's the one. We haven't decided the pay scale yet, but I'm sure it will be affordable.
Indeed. That's a very good idea.
Yes.
Well, for 150 quid, Simon Leviev will send you a love message.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. And I saw one online and it made my skin crawl. Ooh. Because he is such a fucking disgusting creep and he is making money with these messages. And it was horrible because I don't know who put it online, but he was there saying, hello, I heard that you are very beautiful. I want to take you to Mykonos. Have you been to Mykonos?
Oh my God.
And we will go together. We will have a great time. It was just like horrible. 150 quid, boom, in the bank.
Wow. Well, you'll get a lot more for your money with the eavesdropping jingle service. That's for damn sure.
Exactly. But I just feel like it's not fair that, all these poor women are paying debts because he's a con man and he's making money. But worse than that, he's also trying to start a celebrity career. Oh. And look, there's this brilliant Guardian article that was also sent to us, which outlines kind of the pros and cons to being a Netflix reality star, because that's what he's now become. And also how it can basically fuck up your life. And it sort of delves a little bit into Tiger King, that documentary Cheer, where they were the cheerleading acrobatics. It's amazing, season 1. And obviously now they've put the Tinder. I can't talk today. My God, Tindler. The Tinder swindler.
Let's just call it Tindler for short.
Tindler. So I'll put a link in the show notes. But show notes, Guardian article. I'll put it there because it's a great read.
Marvellous.
But it also basically outlines how Simon, he's already signed with a Hollywood talent manager.
That's depressing.
It's really depressing. And this talent manager is basically one of those kind of D-list bottom feeders who just gets deals and cash and, exposure for dodgy clients. Because, in the moment, people do have an insatiable appetite for what's happening to these people they've become invested in knowing more about because they've watched these documentaries. And, even if it's for a brief time, these people are out to make money, and he basically wants to host a dating show.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine? Seriously, the dude's a fucking creep. So basically, I hope he gets thrown back into jail and lives the life of a pauper in total obscurity. So there it is.
Ha! We swear a lot! We swear a lot! We swear a lot!
Get back!
Woo!
See you next Tuesday.
Sorry, Mum.
So, as you know, I'm kind of a bit obsessed with the idea of catfishing.
Yeah.
And, it's out there as a theme. Like, I know you haven't watched Euphoria, but in season 1, there's a catfishing line, like storyline, which is really chilling, actually. And I was thinking about how, you unwittingly put your life in the hands of someone you don't know, but who is, making you feel safe and comfortable. And it led me to this really scary true crime catfishing case in Alaska, where a teenage girl was catfished by a fake millionaire tycoon. So this was actually not too long ago. This was, in the middle of 2019 on June 2nd in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
And the family of 18-year-old Cynthia Hoffman reported her missing to the police. So she'd gone hiking that day at Thunderbird Falls with her best friend from high school, a girl called Denali Brehmer, and 4 other friends. But Cece, because that was her nickname, Cece, she never came home. And this really worried her parents because Cece actually had learning disabilities, and turns out she had the intellectual capabilities of a 12-year-old. So not coming home was really out of character for her. So they were like, fuck, we need to call the police on this. So they did, and the police immediately went searching for her. And the family also set up their own search parties for Cece, and her dad, Timothy Hoffman, texted his daughter's best friend, weirdly, Angela, her name was, to see if she knew where Cece was.
Hang on. Why is that weird?
Well, Angela was actually Denali.
Oh.
So Denali was calling herself Angela. It's just fucking strange.
Oh.
Really strange. Do I need to do trigger warnings now? Because we've had... Yeah, okay, trigger warning, guys. This is not a fun story. This is a triggering story.
Yeah, I'm already upset.
Trigger. Oh, God, I know. You can see where this is going.
Trigger warning. Warning. Trigger warning.
Look out!
Trigger.
Oh my goodness!
Warning.
Chips! Brace yourself, Mavis.
So, the dad texted Angela, in inverted commas. Cece had gone hiking with Angela, but Angela texted back saying she dropped Cynthia off at the local park earlier that day and hadn't seen her since. So 2 days later, on June 4, the police found Cynthia's body on the banks of the Eklutna River, right next to a hiking trail on the outskirts of Anchorage. And again, trigger warning, when they found Cece's body, her feet were duct taped together.
Oh, no.
And horrifically, she'd been shot in the back of the head before her body was dumped in the river. During this whole time, Angela, according to the dad, just sounded panic-stricken over Cynthia's disappearance in the text messages that she was sending. But look, things just didn't add up. And eventually it was revealed that Angela's real name was Denali.
Right.
And all along, she knew exactly what was going on. And this is where the story just gets really twisted. So it turns out that Denali had been in an online relationship with a millionaire called Tyler, who lived in Kansas. I tried to look online to find out how long they'd been in an online relationship for, but I couldn't actually find that info. So I don't know if it was a few weeks or a few months or a year, but it actually doesn't matter because, Denali was absolutely smitten with Tyler. She had him in her phone as babe and, she really thought she was in a relationship with this guy. But the thing is, around 3 weeks before Cynthia was found dead, Tyler offered Denali $9 million to rape and murder pretty much any girl she could get her hands on. But Denali had to take photos and videos of the murder and send them to Tyler, the millionaire, before he would send her the money.
Far out. My God, that's Black Mirror shit.
Dark. It is dark. So Denali, I guess she had money signs in her eyes. she recruited 4 of her mates to help her carry out the murder. And, obviously she promised them money in exchange for their part in this plot. So poor Cynthia was chosen as the victim of this.
God.
And because, she had learning difficulties, she was quite trusting. Her learning disability apparently made her quite vulnerable. She was an easy target. And when she was asked to go on this hiking trip, she was really excited and had absolutely no clue that these 5 teenagers were plotting to kill her for cash. So on June the 2nd, Denali and her mates took Cynthia hiking to Thunderbird Falls, but they took her off the usual track into quite a remote spot. And did you just hear that little bell? I've got a little cat who's gonna jump on me. So yeah, according to the court reports, the whole time that they were hiking, Denali was sending pictures and videos to Tyler of step by step what was going on, sort of, building up to the crime, because he was also demanding that she prove that she was doing what she said she would. And I mean, obviously we know how it ended for poor Cynthia, but after the police found her body, they quickly joined the dots and picked up Denali for the murder. And she initially denied any involvement in this. And instead, she sort of said, there were only 3 of them, but there were 5 that went hiking, and they'd gone into Thunderbird Falls just to take pictures of each other wrapped up in duct tape, because that's what you do, right? And that she had no idea that one of her friends that was with them had planned to shoot Cece. But after it was revealed to Denali that Tyler was not a millionaire, but who was actually a 21-year-old dude from Indiana, not Kansas, who was actually called Darren Schillmiller, and who, unsurprisingly, looked nothing like his online pictures, because he'd used fake pictures, and obviously definitely not a millionaire. The worst thing is, he actually, sickeningly, was a child pornographer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
A known child pornographer. After the police told Denali all this, she just realised, fuck, I've been catfished, and she eventually confessed to everything. But, and there's more twists.
Oh my God.
The thing was, when the police went through Denali's phone, on her phone they found images of child pornography. And it eventually came out that right after the murder, Tyler had asked Denali to sexually abuse an underage girl and film it and send it to him. And she did it because apparently he was then using the murder as blackmail against her.
Oh
so
my
Denali
God.
felt like she had no choice but to do what, fake Tyler said
Wow.
she had to do. So again, after she realised she'd been conned by fake Tyler, she admitted to everything to the police. It was all there on her phone, in her camera roll, and also in her texts. So she couldn't really deny anything.
Awful.
It is so fucking shocking. But then she revealed to the police that she'd actually done it twice for him.
Oh,
and it's
God.
so fucking grim because, fake Tyler also apparently told authorities that he and Denali had discussed killing another person, but they didn't go through with it. Eventually, Darren Schillmiller, fake Tyler,
they got
him, and he admitted to blackmailing Denali into raping those girls, and also, his involvement with killing Cece. And look, eventually Denali and Darren were charged with first-degree murder and child pornography, and the sentence could have been up to 99 years in prison, but I searched online and I could not find how long they actually got.
Okay.
But they did get charged with something. And the others were all charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and 2 counts of second-degree murder. So they all got something. They were all in jail for something, but fuck knows how long. And honestly, this just really is so scary that you know, we talk about heartbreak and people getting scammed out of money, but this poor girl, through catfishing, lost her life. And those other poor girls, those underage girls that were raped. So catfishing people are taking this to a whole new level.
Well, I think people are realizing that catfishing is another form of manipulation that those who prey on, you know, grooming. She was groomed. I mean, obviously she went through with it. She is
a victim.
She's a victim, but she's also guilty of doing what she did. But she was groomed by the fake Tyler guy who thankfully got caught. But it's terrible. This is the thing we need to... There are just so many hidden dangers on the internet that you just don't know what to expect next and how to protect people from it.
And the layers of this story, you know, from catfishing all the way through to like murdering supposedly your best mate for money. Yeah. And all of the child pornography, the rapes, everything. It's mind-boggling, and you know, it makes me feel grim and sick inside for all of this. Yeah, I don't even have an upshot to that story.
No, it's pretty dark, yeah. And I'm sorry that it's so recent. Obviously, it is because of the internet and catfishing and pornography and the way that it works, and
it's so scary. But I mean, the internet is full of catfishing stories, and I've got some corkers ready for you guys for another time. That's my grim story for the week, guys.
Wow, thanks, Michelle.
We got a bit bleak, we got a bit dark. We're two birds yakking, just having a laugh.
We'll lighten the mood somehow, somewhat. Let's lighten the mood. It's not that light. And again, people out there, people, be aware that you will need a trigger warning for this story as well. Also a true crime, also recent. Michelle, have you ever heard of the nullo movement?
No. Enlighten me, Geordie.
Well, for those who identifies neither male or female, it's short for genital nullification, the removal of penis and testicles.
Trigger warning.
Oh, sorry, pet. What was that?
You might want to put down that sandwich. Trigger warning.
Oh my God, have we got a dick and ball story here? Oh, shit.
Nullos are also known as smoothies and sometimes even have the nipples off.
No.
Yes. They want to look like a Ken doll.
Oh my God.
It's a thing. It's a look that people lust after, that they want to have.
I didn't know this was a thing.
And it's been around for a while too, Michelle. The movement first gained interest in 2012 after a Japanese performance artist named Mao Sugiyama removed, cooked and served his genitalia to the highest bidder.
I think I've actually heard about that story.
You must have.
And I think there are a few copycats as well, but I think he might have been the original.
He's the OG
Dick and Ball Chomper.
D&B restaurant. Yeah. Sorry. Most people, right, hang on. Let me just collect myself. One moment. Right. Most people who undergo the procedure claim to be submissive gay males. Oh no, I can't laugh.
I just can't believe you called it a restaurant.
Sorry.
Oh,
Let me start that last sentence again. Most people who undergo the procedure claim to be submissive gay males or identify as asexual. Now, there's a man, his name is Marius Gustavsson, and he is Norwegian born, but he lives in the UK, and he claimed to have undergone the procedure himself, but is also your go-to guy for the operation, as he has performed the procedure on 58 other men.
What? Oh, they really could have started a restaurant.
Indeed. 44-year-old
God.
Marius, known as the Eunuch Maker, has now been arrested amid claims he carried out dozens of castrations in his basement flat and broadcast the procedures on a pay-per-view channel that was promoted via a Twitter account.
Oh my God. Okay. Dude's making money off the snip.
Indeed. He also offered up his own severed member to paying guests, much like our performance artist earlier. Allegedly, a married couple were amongst the dinner guests. Interesting.
People have some kinks, don't they?
They do.
Wow.
He would assure his guests he was free of venereal disease before donning a chef's outfit as he fried up the sweetmeats.
No.
But I got that wrong. Because it's not sweetmeats. It's not that.
It's not a sweetmeat.
I've got here NB. I don't even know what NB means. Sweetmeats are candied fruit in India where sweet bread are the organs of an animal such as pancreas, etc., which is what I thought I was saying when I wrote that he fried up the sweetmeats. I was just trying to be clever, but I was foisted by my own petard there. Anyway, back to our story. So 6 other men aged between 30 to 60 were arrested after police raided the property in the Finsbury Park area of North London back in 2021. So it's very recent, Michelle.
That is so scary. Do you think that the pandemic just allowed these people to all kind of come together more easily? They had more time on their hands to want to follow their fetish for eating dick. I don't know.
I don't know if the eating dick was part of the fetish. I think maybe that just kind of came out of it as a byproduct.
As an entree. Oh, God. Sorry.
Anyway, Marius, it was said to have kept the removed appendages of other nullos, of the people who he's lopped off, in his freezer, or he stored them in alcohol inside his flat. Interestingly, Michelle, and don't ask me too many questions about this because I've just got this one fact. I don't know any more, but he's also an amputee. He's missing a leg. His neighbours said. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if that was also
part
of some kind of ritual where he's,
Chop it off
done
and
that
eat it.
online for some quick cash. Maybe cooked up a leg of human. I don't know.
I don't think so. I like to think that that's not the case. He was just an amputee, and maybe he had. Somebody was saying to me the other night that amputees often. There are people who do get amputated. And I don't know much about this. This is just a dinner party conversation I had the other night when I was discussing this story.
Wonderful dinner party convo.
Some people do feel that, this arm is unnatural. It's not supposed to be here. And they go about getting it amputated.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And perhaps it's the same kind of psychology behind the nullification thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want this genitalia. Please remove it kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. That it feels alien to their body, so they want it gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Get it gone. He said, so Marius said he carried out the surgery in a very professional way, but neighbours in the residential street said they had seen ambulances regularly turning up to the property.
Oh, God.
They also said
Jesus.
they also saw a suspicious large black tent in the back garden.
Oh. Okay. So he's out there performing surgeries under very unhygienic conditions, I imagine.
Do you think he did it in the tent?
Well, maybe.
What do you think the tent's for?
Well, I don't know. It's easy to clean up the blood, right?
Yeah,
You just put plastic everywhere, hose it down. Bob's your uncle. I don't know.
Bob's your uncle. Well, it's funny you should say that, Michelle, because Marius is not the first eunuch maker.
Oh, gosh. All right.
In 2020, so not even that much further back.
This is all pandemic.
Yes.
Pandemic times.
Now you say it like that. Those dates do tally, don't they? So in 2020, Virginia, in the United States, I should say, Uncle Bob, Lee Allen, he was not my uncle, by the way, not my uncle, just Bob, 53, and his partner, Thomas Evans Gates, 42, were arrested after a 28-year-old man walked into an Oklahoma hospital bleeding profusely from his groin area.
Oh, Jesus. Sans penis.
Sans penis.
Sans
So
penis.
The man told hospital officials that he was castrated in a remote cabin in the woods by Uncle Bob Allen. We're not. He's not known as Uncle Bob.
He's not Uncle Bob.
He's not Uncle Bob.
Bob's your uncle, but he's just a Bob.
He's a carbuncle. I was just titivated by the fact that you said Uncle Bob's your uncle, and I thought, well, Uncle Bob here, he's your lopper. He's your penis lopper.
He's a Bob the lopper. Bob a job for a lop. Bob a job for a lop.
About that?
I don't know.
The man told hospital officials that he was castrated in a remote cabin in the woods by Alan, who told him he was a cannibal and kept food parts in his refrigerator. What's he doing turning up there?
Do you know what, Geordie? Can I just reel your mind back to a previous episode where we talked about strange addictions and the woman who kept all her cats in the fridge
Yes, I'll never
and in
forget
the
her.
freezer,
Yeah.
and that it all got defrosted and there was like dead cat juice in the bottom of the fridge. I wonder if that's a similar situation here. People, I'm going to put a link to that show if you want to know more about.
If you can't get enough gore, then
I wonder if I should have had a trigger warning about that.
you should have.
Sorry, go back to the penis.
So this poor chap, he's unnamed, the victim. He was castrated in this cabin in the woods by a man who told him he was a cannibal. But I'm pretty sure he didn't tell him that until he was standing over him with his tools in hand.
Oh, God.
Because the cabin was listed on Mr. B&B, which is an Airbnb service for the LGBTQ community. And it was a home share and listed as Bob's Weekend Wonders Mountain Retreat.
Oh, that's like the Piggy Palace.
Come on down to Bob's Weekend Wonders Mountain Retreat for all your nullification needs.
Honestly, you could do voiceovers.
I
Get
know.
in touch, Bob, if you want to.
Oh, no, Bob.
really.
Bob can't, and I'll tell you why.
No.
The victim had flown from his home in Virginia to Dallas after contacting Bob Allen, through a website while doing an online search about castration. So obviously the man was a nullo and wanted rid. And so he was searching and found Bob and his Weekend Wonders mountain retreat and thought, well, he seems like a nice guy. He's done it before. I'll go along and get it lopped off.
For some mountain massacre. Jesus.
He was assured by Alan that he had 15 years of experience and that he videos the procedures for personal use.
No, that's for selling on the internet, for God's sake.
I mean, if he'd told me that, I'd run a mile. He'd also had his own website called the Eunuch Maker.
Oh, Jesus. Have you looked that up online? Did you go?
No, I'm not as gory as you. No, you can look it up. You can look at that.
In the name of research, I'll give it a go. Although,
Do
you know
that.
what? I'll have to put it through DuckDuckGo. Otherwise, they're going to put cookies on me. I'm going to get tracked for castration.
It's not going to be good.
Do you know what? We're probably also being listened to. Our phones
Well, I
being
hope
listened
so.
to. We're going to get ads now.
For nullos. Well, then, if you do look, perhaps you can answer a few of our listeners' questions, if we've still got any by this point, to be honest with you, Michelle. I know that half the population will probably already have tuned out. But I had a lot of questions when I was talking about this at the weekend. So to some friends, they said, well, how does he pee? And also, apparently, a lot of the nullos say that they still get sexual gratification. Don't know how. I don't have the answers. And how they pee? Well, apparently, there's a little hole left behind. So you can go and check that out, Michelle, for yourself. You can tell us next week.
Well, can I just say, I'll just quickly tell you now, I've tried to look up the Eunuch Maker.
God.
Can't find it, but there are all things called Eunuch World, a collection of castration and penectomy based fantasy fiction and non-fiction and all sorts. Although there's one here, access denied. So eunuchmaker.co.uk. Oh my God, it says here.
He's been arrested, that's why.
Yeah, eunuchmaker.co.uk receives about 17,691 unique visitors per day.
Oh,
what
my God.
the actual fuck? Anyway, sorry, continue on with your story, Geordie.
Gee whiz. Okay. After the victim was treated in hospital, the officials informed police, so the hospital officials got in touch with the police, and they went to the cabin outside Oklahoma to investigate. And they found there medical equipment, there was drugs, mushrooms in a pill bottle, blood, and stained detritus. and blood-stained detritus, I should say, and testicles frozen in a bag.
No, oh God.
For later.
Oh no.
Sorry.
I mean, what are you going to do with some frozen balls? Do you know what I mean?
Reattach if you've changed your mind. Keep hold of it for a bit. I don't know.
No, I think it's in there for like a snack down the line, isn't
stop.
it?
Oh.
I don't know. Frozen.
Well, our victim told officials that Bob Allen bragged that he once killed a man performing a similar operation and that he had 6 other surgeries lined up. This poor victim, Michelle, was awake during the entire 2-hour operation after he was injected in and around his genitalia.
Oh my God. So maybe he was, I wonder if he had sedation, but the kind of sedation where you're awake, you can't feel anything but you're awake.
Like ketamine?
No. I've had that before. I've had that where I've had, like a weird little, procedure or whatever. And they numb the site, but you're awake. So you can't feel anything, but you can kind of feel the movement of what's happening.
Actually, I've had that as well, yeah.
It's grim. So I really hope that that's what they did. I hope they actually, this poor guy, I hope he couldn't feel any pain, but being awake and hearing everything is grim enough in itself.
Well, he was injected, so obviously he had local anaesthetic. So he told investigators that after the surgery was over, Bob Allen said that he was going to consume the parts and laughed and said that he was a cannibal. That's when he told him.
I'm sorry, do you remember that song? I eat
cannibals. Feed off the baba. Your love is so edible. To me, I eat cannibals. What a silly song.
It is a silly song.
Toto Coelho.
How do you even know who's saying that?
I loved them.
That is like delving right into the brain. But can I just say, last week, in last week's episode, we were talking about foreign accent syndrome.
Yes.
And you had talked about George Michael waking up with a West Country burr. Yeah. And then you sang, then you did some
I'm never going to dance again.
Yes. But I think you got the lyrics wrong.
Guilty feet have got no reason. That's what I said.
It's rhythm.
Guilty feet, I thought it was.
Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
I said reason.
And because I was listening to the episode going, what is she singing? I mean, it sounded wonderful, but yes, just
sorry, I got those lyrics incorrect. I probably got the accent wrong too, but never mind.
No, but I'm sure that you got I Eat Cannibal correct, because I thought it was
I eat cannibals. It's incredible. Yeah. Your love is so edible to me. Bob Allen allegedly told this victim that he once worked on someone who he described to be crazy. So he left this poor man opened up, like after doing the surgery, and left him to die overnight. Now, that's not been proven. I don't know if that's just an anecdote, but I don't think that actually happened. I just think this guy was getting off on telling him horror stories while he had, his ghoulies in one hand and a scalpel in the other. But
you never know unless they find the remains of this supposed crazy guy. It could be true. Could be true.
I don't think it is. Anyway, Allen and Gates also attempted to get the victim to participate in cannibalism, according to the authorities. The day after the operation, Allen agreed to drive the bleeding victim to the hospital, but he told him no morgue, no ER. And he also said that if he passed out or died, he would dump his body in the woods, and told him to tell the authorities or the hospital staff that he had done it to himself.
Right. Okay. But clearly that didn't happen.
No, obviously. So these 2 men were charged with performing unlicensed surgery, maiming, assault, failure to bury dead human members. Hang on.
Oh, what?
Failure to bury a dead human member. So not a dead human, but the member.
You see, I didn't even know that is a charge.
That's a charge now.
Wow, that's now in law. How bizarre! How bizarre!
Got to have it. Got to cover it all.
Jesus, it makes a simple first degree murder look so boring.
So what else was there? They were in possession of controlled dangerous substances, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia, and much, much more, Michelle, much, much more. That Bob Allen was a busy boy.
He had the book thrown at him by this, all accounts.
He was convicted and is serving 12 years.
Is that all?
And hubby. Yes. And well, because it was consensual majority of the time.
Yeah, I guess, actually. And like going back to Tinder swindler, that is part of the reason why, Simon Shimon motherfucker gets away with it, because they get into the loopholes of what's consent, what is active participation, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's grey areas.
So he's doing 12 years, and Gates, the hubby, who was only handing instruments over during the operation, he struck a plea deal and walked. With time served.
Okay. Well, I guess that relationship's over.
I'm pretty sure they had only just gotten married, and I'm pretty sure that relationship has dwindled.
I don't think it's going to survive. It's like,
I don't think it will. I'll be waiting for you, Bobby. I'll be waiting for you on the other side. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. It's like
Bobby will be like, fuck you.
He threw him under the bus,
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So ain't no hanging around.
It's very Tiger King. I wonder if they'll do a documentary on this one. I doubt it.
I don't know, because it is quite grim. And I actually feel quite guilty that we've been laughing all the way through this, because it's really quite shocking content matter here. But,
yes, it is.
Apologies.
We don't mean to laugh.
No.
We're just embarrassed. That's all.
Yes, I know.
Yes, apologies.
Apologies from me, apologies to you.
Why do I always sound so Australian?
So, Michelle, there we have two very grim and ghastly stories for our eavesdroppers this week.
Oh, my God. Do write in and let us know what you think.
No, don't.
No.
I don't want. Well, I think we know what you think. We know what you think. But perhaps we could lighten the mood somehow.
Well, Geordie, getting on to lighter subjects. TV, we both love a good TV show. So what did you think of the unmasking of the Masked Singer?
Yeah, are we allowed to say who it was? Some people may not have seen it.
Well, spoiler alert, guys. If you don't want to know, then tune out. But Geordie got me into the worst television, which it turns out loads of people absolutely love. It's called The Masked Singer. It's just one of those bits of kind of feel-good telly, really, isn't it? And,
yeah, it's fun.
And so famous people they are clad head to toe in various costumes. And they are really elaborate costumes, amazing costumes, actually, aren't they?
Yeah. Robo Bunny was insane.
Yeah, that was incredible costume. I mean, I actually thought Traffic Cone was a great costume.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, and Mushroom. So anyway, then they have to disguise their voice. The judging panel get clues. You have to figure out who dat inside the mask.
But the clues were terrible, weren't they? They were so bad. When they revealed a few of them and they said, oh, well, that clue meant this. But something like where the lead singer from Keane went to university. Now, how on earth are we supposed to know that? That clue sent me in the direction of thinking that the lead singer from Keane was actually David Tennant.
Yes. So, they do put you on red herrings. Everybody got knocked out eventually. Pat Cash was on it. We had
Pat Cash.
We did. He was hilarious.
Bagpipes.
He was bagpipes, actually. And
Michael Owen was donuts.
Yeah.
The lady from M People was a chandelier.
Yes,
I think,
that's
was she?
right. Yes. And then we had the big reveal of who was going to win. And quite frankly, and again, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, I was shocked that Charlotte Church did not win. Mushroom was revealed to be Charlotte Church. She was incredible. But actually, they went for Panda, who turned out to be none other than Aussie Chanteuse. Chanteuse. Natalie,
The Chanteuses.
Chanteuses.
Do you remember that?
I do.
There was a band called the Chanteuses. Do you remember?
So Australian. So Natalie Brehmer won.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, well done, Nat.
I thought it was a dud.
Sorry, Natalie.
Charlotte should have won. So anyway.
Well, she gave it a good crack. She did sing well. The panda. She was good.
Yeah, she was.
Well, listen, going back to the jingles service, I will say Michelle and I have just been talking about this idea. We haven't actually done it yet, but we are happy to do it. And I think we might offer a few to our loyal listeners for free, just so we can get some up on the website so that people can see what kind of things they can do. And there'll probably be a sliding scale of different jingles if you'd like one. You can use it for your business. You can use it for your loved ones or anything. So why don't you get in touch? Give us a few lines about your loved one, your friend, or whoever you're buying the jingle for, little key elements.
And we can personalise and jingle it up for you.
We jingle it up, exactly.
Now, do you remember how we actually came up with this idea? Because we actually did do a jingle for our friend and eavesdropper, Peter from Sydney.
Yes, we did.
He never even got in touch.
Never thanked us, did he?
No, I think that jingle might still be languishing in Instagram messaging obscurity. So, Pete, if you're listening, have a listen to your jingle, mate, and get in touch. Tell us what you think.
So, yeah, do let us know if you'd like a jingle, or if you just want to write in and say how appalled you are at this week's episode. Well, you know what? We can't help that because it's true life, real crime. What is it? Real life, true crime, and supernatural.
Yeah, true life, true crime, supernatural. There you have it.
Real life, true crime, supernatural, and you never know what you're going to get from week to week. So unless you write in and tell us something that you want us to talk about, we'll just blather away about anything we want, won't we, Michelle?
Absolutely. And until then,
whatever you do,
wherever you are,
just keep eavesdropping.
Eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, dropping, eavesdropping, eavesdropping, dropping, dropping,